Hi everyone. I hope everyone's staying safe and healthy during the COVID-19 pandemic. I miss working with you guys here at the ADRC, and hopefully we can get back to it once things begin to clear up. We're here this morning to show you guys some easy exercises that you can do in the home on your own. We know that maintaining that physical activity level is really important for long-term health, so we wanted to show you guys a few ways you can stick to it even though you might be socially isolating in your home. I have the face mask on right now. I'll be taking it off for the video when we get into the exercises, but I just wanted to have the face mask on to reiterate the importance of mask wearing. Anytime that you go out in the public, you should be wearing one of these. You can have a cloth one of the disposable ones that I have on this morning, but face masks are very important to not only keep yourself safe, but keep the community safe as well. Some common things that I see with face masks, you probably can notice on mine right now, it's not on very tight, but over time they start to slip down below the nose. If your nose is exposed and you're wearing a face mask, it kind of defeats the purpose. It really doesn't help you very much. So make sure that face mask is over the nose and tightened down so it stays where it's supposed to be. Another thing that we see frequently at the hospital is people put the face mask on inside out. So you want to make sure it's on the right way so it does the job it's intended to do. When you're wearing your face mask, you don't want to bring it down below your face and onto your neck like this, because if you came into contact with someone who had the virus and they got those particles down on your neck, you brought the face mask down and then put that face mask right back over your mouth, then there you go, now you have it. So don't put that face mask down below and rest it there. Keep it on your face as it's supposed to be. Another thing that people often do is they'll touch their face from the outside of their face mask like that. That will kind of encourage those particles to go in through the cloth fabric or in through the mask, and then you get it that way as well. So when your face mask is on your face, try not to touch it, leave it and let it do its job. All right, I'm gonna take it off and we'll get into the exercises. All right, so I have a couple pieces of equipment with me today. We'll go over those. I know not everyone might have it in the home, but if you do, this is just some bonus exercises for you. First one we're gonna do, it's called hip adduction. It's really good for the inner part of your legs, specifically the groin area, and it's also good for internal rotation of your hip. So you put the ball right in between your legs like I have here, and all you're gonna do, sitting nice and straight up, try to have good posture when you do all of these, is squeeze in on the ball and hold. You can hold for a count of 10, 15, 20, whatever is best for you. So maybe you start out with 10 seconds, and as you get stronger, you go to 20 seconds. But that whole time you want to be squeezing in on the ball and holding that squeeze. Another variation to do this one is you would just go in and out with the ball. And then you could count up to 10 repetitions, 15 repetitions, whatever floats your boat. Okay, that's the first one with the ball. The next one is we're just going to keep the ball in the same position here in between the legs. You want to squeeze in on the ball just slightly, not as hard as you were doing for that hip adduction exercise, but just a little bit. And then all you're doing is you're going to be kicking your leg out in front of you. This is basically a long arc quad with a ball in between the legs. So this exercise specifically strengthens up your quad muscles, so you should feel it right above the knee. You might also feel it behind your knee, kind of in that hamstring area. It's a really simple exercise, but a great one to develop some leg strength, good for flexibility as well. And then you just alternate to the other side, do it with both your right and your left leg. So maybe you're doing 10 repetitions on each side, or up to 15 repetitions, whatever is gonna work for you. Next one we're gonna do is we're gonna put the ball down on the floor. I know in group this exercise wasn't everyone's favorite, but it's a good one for the knee specifically. A lot of people, as they get older, those knees are just not working the same way they were when you were 30 years old. So this is a good one just to keep the knee active. It's a good range of motion exercise. What you do is you get that ball underneath one of your feet, and then you roll it out to your heel. So you're kind of starting out by the toes, and you roll it out to the heel. And you just go in and out like that. I was a soccer player, so I can generally keep control of the ball pretty good. I know in the past when I've done this exercise with people, the ball might be flying all across the room. So if you don't have good control over the feet, this one might be harder for you. But it's just toes to the heel with the ball in and out. Okay? We're gonna keep the ball down on the ground here and do another one. So this one, you get that foot on top of the ball, just like the last exercise. Sitting with good posture. The big thing to remember on this one is you don't want your body to come and lean forward like I'm doing right now. You want to make sure that posture is nice and straight the whole time. So my foot's on top of the ball, posture's good. I'm going to put my right hand on my right leg, and with my hand I'm going to push down on my leg. With my foot I'm going to push down on the ball, all at the same time. So my foot's kind of wiggling there a little bit because I'm straining against the ball, but this one you might feel in your core a little bit. It's a really good core exercise that you can do in a seated position. Okay, and that you would hold for maybe 10-15 seconds, and you do the same with the other side, left hand on left leg, pushing down, keeping your body straight. All right, we'll move on to some other ones with the ball here. A lot of times shoulders can be tough for people as you age, so you want to keep those active by doing some stretches, some range of motion exercises, so we'll go over a couple simple ones for you. You can do this even if you don't have a ball with maybe a Campbell's soup can, just something that you can hold on with both hands. It can be a football, a baseball, whatever it is. So you have the ball in at your chest here, and all you're doing is simply just pushing it way out in front of you as far as you can comfortably get it, and then you come right back into the center. So it's just out and in, just like that. If that's too easy for you, you can make it a little more difficult by pushing it out and then rolling that ball to the tips of your fingers, way on the tip, and then pulling it back into the hand and then all the way into the chest. So it's just a different variation to do it to make it a little bit more difficult for yourself. But this one's good for shoulder strength and that range of motion that we talked about a little bit earlier. Same on the repetitions as all the other exercises. All the ones we're doing today, recommending anywhere from 10 to 15 repetitions. You can do 1 set, 2 sets, whatever you're most comfortable with. All right, the next one is very similar, but we're now going up towards the ceiling. So ball's in at the chest here, and you're going nice and high with it, and down. Some of you might not be able to go all the way up like I'm doing here. Maybe if you're just able to go to the forehead and down, that's at least something. But this is basically a shoulder press with the ball. So you're going up in the air and down. Okay. With some of these exercises, maybe your left shoulder isn't working quite as well as that right shoulder. By holding onto an object like that, your good arm kind of takes that bad arm through the range of motion with it. So that's why using a ball for some shoulder exercises is a great thing to do. All right, so hopefully I'm not forgetting any with the ball, but I'm going to put this down on the floor, and I'm going to pick up the resistance band. So this one is a tubed resistance band with handles. They come, maybe you've been to the rehab clinic and you just got a long slack of TheraBand. It basically just is a big elastic piece. That works for these as well. Or you can find these online on Amazon for a couple dollars. You can go into Dunham's and get one there too. Well, this is just a really good piece of equipment that you can use in your home for resistance training. So resistance training is working on muscle development, trying to strengthen those muscles up to keep them nice and strong. And that's very important as you get older because you're always going to need those muscles. When you're pushing off from a chair to get up, you're using your arms, you're always using your muscles every day for all sorts of little activities that you just might not realize it. So keeping them strong is very important. First one we're going to do, it's called hip adduction. Before with the ball, the very first exercise we did was called hip adduction. That one, if you remember, you were squeezing in. On this one, it's kind of the opposite. You're going to be going outwards. So this exercise is focusing on your hip abductor, which is right here. And that muscle is very important, keeping your body stable, keeping that hip right where it's supposed to be. It's a very important muscle that you use all the time. So you get this band draped over your thighs, and then you wrap it underneath those legs, and you kind of just hold the excess right in your lap like I have here. You're going to want your feet nice and close together. Knees are close together to start, and then all you do is you take your knees and you go out and in, out and in. When you go out, you want to go as far out as you can comfortably get it before coming in. So same 10 to 15 reps. You should feel that pinch kind of in the outside part of your hip, and just like this. To make it a little bit more difficult, you would go out, and then you would hold it for a few seconds. So maybe a count of 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, and you just feel the burn a little bit more in the muscle, and then go in. Perfect. All right. Gonna unravel myself here. The next one I'm gonna do is called a seated leg press. This one's focusing in on those quads again. It's also good for the knee and hip, a little bit of a range of motion exercise for those two joints. So you put the band underneath your foot, just like this. If you notice on the screen, I have the band a little bit cockeyed. So one part of the band is longer than the other part. You're going to take that longer part and wrap it around your foot, just like that. And I wrap it around my foot just because it's a lot safer. The first time I ever did this, I had it on my foot like this, and as I was moving it, the band kind of flew up. So you don't want to get hit in the face with the band. So safety first, make sure you wrap it around your foot. Then it just stays in place there. All right, so we got it wrapped around the foot. I got the two handles in my arms. There's two different ways you can start it. You can take both handles and pull it up towards your belly. Or what I like to do is I put one hand through both handles, put my other hand through those handles as well, pull them up together, and keep it in at that belly. So you're going to want to anchor these bands in one position. You can anchor it here at your stomach, you can anchor it a little bit higher, but once you anchor it, your leg's doing all the moving. Your arms shouldn't be going up and down at all. They should be in the same spot the whole time. So my leg's out there straight, band is anchored, and then I'm taking my knee and I'm coming up towards my chest, and then I'm pushing it down towards the ground. So knees up, legs out. So this way you're pushing against the resistance that band has around your foot and helping a little bit of the strength in your leg. Okay. Another one you can do with the band in this same position, you have the hands anchored. It's more of an ankle exercise. So you can go in and out. So inversion and eversion. It just works on the ankle a little bit. You should feel it kind of in the lateral part of your ankle, so outside portion there. And you're just trying to roll your foot in and out. Just another simple exercise you can do with the band on your foot. And you can also go up and down. So plantar and dorsiflexion. Just up and down with that foot. All right, so that kind of covers the ones on the lower extremities. We'll go up and do some arm ones. The first one we'll do is a real simple one, but it's a great one for your biceps, for your arms. So you get the band underneath your feet, you're stepping on top of it. So I have my feet spread out a little bit. If you bring your feet in together, it just makes it easier, there's less resistance on the band. The wider out you have your feet, the more resistance and the harder it's going to be. So you tuck your elbows in right at your side, your palms are facing the ceiling, and then all you do is come up and down with the handles. So you're doing a curl is what it is. So you just want to do it nice and slow and controlled. To make it harder, you just go real slow on the downward part of the exercise. So you'll feel that right in your arms, in your biceps, maybe your forearms a little bit, but it's a nice simple exercise to do. All right, I'm going to step off the band, and next one I'm going to do, it's a shoulder exercise, and also a little bit in the back, but I'm taking the band and I'm throwing it behind my head, getting it underneath the arms, just like this. So you can hold the handles if you want, that's the easiest way. Or you can grab onto the actual elastic part of the band, and that just increases the resistance and makes the exercise a little bit harder. Get your feet on the floor, spread out wider a little bit, and then you're just doing some punching. So you're going to punch with one arm straight out in front of you, come in, and then punch out with that other arm. And you're alternating back and forth, doing some punches, just like that. You can also change it up and go kind of across the body. So you can punch out to the side, in and out like that, whatever way that works best for you. This one's a great way to alleviate some of that quarantine stress that you might have. It feels good to punch out in front of you. Just imagine the upstairs neighbor who's been pounding on the floor nonstop, and it'll feel good, relieve some stress. All right, another way you can do a very similar exercise is kind of like a chest press. You have the band in this position with both arms. It's very similar to the one we just last did, but you push straight ahead with both hands. Perfect. All right, I'm going to take that off. Another one for the shoulders, it's called horizontal abduction. You hold the band in your hands like this. The closer together that you hold it, the harder it is. The wider out you put your hands, the easier. So maybe start a little bit wider out. This one can be tough. And then all you do is you take the band and you pull it in. So your arms are going out and the band's coming towards your chest. And that one you're going to feel up in those shoulders and in the back as well. It's a good upper body exercise to get some strength. All right, so that's it with the band. I'll go over a few quick chair exercises that you can do that get some flexibility in your joints and just get your body moving in a nice, easy way. That's always going to be sitting down. First one, it's another one for the legs. We kind of went over it with the ball earlier, but you can also do it without the ball. It's just along our quads. So you're going to pick up your foot off the ground very slightly, and then you're just kicking that foot out in front of you. So really, really good exercise. The stronger your quad is, the more it supports your knee, and then you wouldn't have to worry about your knee buckling in and out. Nice strong legs helps you get off the chair as well. So real simple exercise where you're just using your body weight, kicking that foot out in front of you. Again, if you pause, it makes it harder. So just pause for a few seconds before you come back in. Okay. Next one, it's a hip exercise. It's good for external rotation. So what you do is you pick up your foot and you bring your leg out and in. Just like that. So you're taking your leg, bringing it out to the side as far as you comfortably can, and then you're bringing it in. Okay. This next one's pretty hard for a lot of people. So if you can't get your knee up, your foot up as high as I can, don't worry about it. I've worked with people in the past that were only able to go a couple inches up at first, but the more they did this exercise, the better they got at it. And even one gentleman who was struggling to tie his shoes was able to get his foot up in this position and then tie his shoes a lot easier. So at this one, you put your heel on your shin, like I have here, and imagine that you have a bunch of mud on your shin. And what you do is you take your foot and you scrape that mud off and you go up towards your knee. It's a pretty difficult exercise for some people. You're going to feel it quite a bit, but it's a really good one to help with the flexibility. That gentleman that I was talking about earlier was able to get his foot all the way up in this position, and then that made it a lot easier for him to tie his shoes again. So it's a good one to work on, and a little bit more difficult of an exercise, but I got faith in you guys. All right, next one. This one's very simple. It's good for the anterior tibialis. It's kind of in the front part of your shin here, and then also the calf muscle on the back. So you have your feet flat on the ground, and you're going to go up on your tippy toes, and then up on your heels. So it's just tippy toes to heels. Very simple, really easy exercise to do, but good to include those muscles in the lower part of your leg there. Up and down, just like that. This one's a good one. You can do a lot of these when you're just watching TV. You can do it all in a seated position, so it's pretty easy to knock out when you're watching your Price is Right or whatever TV show that you're into. All right, next one. This one's a little bit more complicated, but you're going to want to kind of scoot forward in your chair a little bit. You get one leg out in front of you, just like I have. And what you're doing with this leg is you're going to bring it up until it's about parallel with your other leg and down. So it's just up and down with that leg. This one's quite a bit harder, but it's a good one to strengthen up the muscles in the leg as well. Perfect. All right, I got another couple for the legs, and then we'll just do some stretches for the upper body as well. This next one's a very, very simple one, an easy one that everybody can do. It's just a seated march. So you're in your position here, and you're just marching up and down with your feet. So kind of toe tap up and down, driving the knee as high up as you comfortably can get it, and you're just marching into place. To make it a little harder, you can pick up your leg and hold it for a count of 5, 10, and then you're going to feel it a little bit more doing it that way. So holding it makes it harder, but otherwise you're just marching up and down. Another one, this one's just for the ankles to get them moving around a little bit. You pick up your leg, similar to what you were doing on the march, but you hold it up this time, and you're going to be, say, write your name in the air with your foot. So that way your ankle's moving around in a bunch of different ranges. Your brain's thinking a little bit too. I got to remember how to spell my last name. It's a little bit longer. And then that's just rolling that ankle around. Or you can just do circles and then rotate and roll the other way. Or you can try to write something here, whatever works best for you. So put that leg down. That's it for the leg ones. One more. This one's not really in the chair the whole time, but this is a really, really great exercise that I recommend for almost any older adult. You're in your chair. You're going to want to scoot forward a little bit. This is just a sit-to-stand exercise. It's very functional. It's something that you do all the time. You're going to need to continue doing as you age. So proper standing mechanics, you're always going to want to have your butt towards the edge of the chair. You're going to want, if your feet are way out here and you try to stand up, you got no leverage. So you need leverage. You take your feet and you kind of tuck them back so your knees are about over your toes. Knees are about over the toes. Okay? Then if you try to stand up and it's kind of leaning backward, you're not going to get anywhere either. So you're going to want to get your trunk bent forward. The common saying that you probably have heard before is nose over the toes. So my nose is kind of over my knees, which are over my toes. They're all in line there. Okay, so you're bent forward, everything's ready to go. If you have arms on the chair, it's good to use those arms of the chair. That's what they're meant for. So you're going to lean forward and stand up nice and tall. And then all you're doing is going to be sitting back down. If you have arms on the chair, grab those arms and guide yourself down. But otherwise, it's forward, up, and down. And you can do this for 30 seconds. See how many you can get in 30 seconds. Maybe to just a count of 10. To make it harder, when you stand up and down, you can do it with a count. So maybe it's stand up in 4, 3, 2, 1. Sit down in 4, 3, 2, 1. So if you count like that, it just makes it harder because you got to control that body going up and then sitting back down. Perfect. All right, a couple quick ones for the upper body. First one, you're going to get your hands out in front of you, and then you're going to slide your hand down your forearm out to your shoulder, and then you slide it back to the middle. So out, other side, and in. I haven't talked this much in quite a while. My voice is getting a little cracky. I'm sorry. So it's just out and in with the arms. Perfect. Another one, simple little kind of chest stretch. So you have your arm out in front of you. Take your other arm and you pull it in, and you just hold it in this position like this. In grade school, we always called it the elephant trunk because it looks like you have an elephant trunk. But you're just hugging your arm. You're going to feel that kind of in your chest shoulder area. And then you just do the same thing with the other side. We already did it with the bands, but you can do it with your hands as well without any sort of resistance. Just moving your arms out, in, up, down. So you're trying to get through those different ranges, reaching up and down. If you do a bunch of reps of this, you're probably going to feel your shoulders get a little bit sore. So just a very simple way that you can move those arms around, work those shoulders out a little bit. If you have any sharp pain while you're doing any of these exercises, it's encouraged that you stop immediately. That's your body telling you something's hurting. Don't try to push through it. If it's uncomfortable for you, don't do it. Not all of these exercises are going to be appropriate for everybody, but it's just a general overview of some things you can try on your own. So again, if you have any sharp pain, don't proceed with it. All right, that's it. So stay safe and healthy out there, guys, and hopefully we see you back here at the ADRC soon.